Next up, I'm going to introduce Martin Davidson, who's the British Council's Chief Executive. He's a fantastic guy. They do some great work. Many of you may know about the Global Changemakers program. The British Council is spending a lot of time trying to rebuild trust in the Middle East, helping with the whole conversation around climate change and the issues on climate. Martin, is now based in the UK, but used to live in Hong Kong as the administrative officer, taking high-level decisions of the running of that very important part of the world. So if you'd put your hands together and give a big one young world welcome to Martin Davidson. Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Martin.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Hi, thank you very much indeed, and it's really great to have the opportunity to be here today. We're going to spend about a half an hour on what I think is a really, really very important project. But before I introduce that, I'm really proud and delighted to be able to introduce Dawn Butler. Dawn is the UK's Minister for Youth. She is Honorary Vice President of the British Youth Council. She's Assistant Whip. But actually, most importantly of all, she's the first black woman to be given a ministerial post in the Commons. It's an enormous pleasure to introduce Dawn Butler.
It's a long walk. Good morning, everybody. Brilliant. Good to see you here today. So thank you very much for that introduction. I'm Dawn Butler. I'm the Minister for Young Citizens and Youth Engagement. And it's absolutely wonderful to be here today and to see you all here today. You look great. Fantastic. I want to thank the organisers for organising today. You may not realise just how important your presence is here today in East London, but what we have in this room is future global leaders. Am I correct? Yes. Am I correct? Yes. Fantastic. And so what we want to do is show the world how great our future looks. And I think it looks quite good from up here. And I've been hearing some of the speeches backstage, and I think that the future is in safe hands with you guys out there. Just last week, actually, on Facebook, I accepted a young man who I met from Global Changemakers. And what it signifies to me is that you guys are kind of used to working globally in the global environment, in the social networking. It's no big deal for you. It's kind of the older generation that maybe doesn't want to buy things online, that's scared to give their credit card details or anything like that. You guys are just like PayPal and all the rest of it, and it really doesn't mean a lot. And what we have to do is we have to move forward. We have to move our attitudes forward. We have to move our approach forward. And we have to move the media forward. And I know that you're having a debate and discussion about the media representation of young people. Can I just ask you, do you think it's fair, the media representation of young people? No? Do you think you get a fair press? Exactly. We have to change that. And what you're doing today is you're changing that with your presence here today, with your speeches here today, with your debates here today. You're forcing the media to stand up and to listen to what you have to say. Every day I meet engaged, dynamic, determined young people, ordinary young people doing extraordinary things in their part of the world. And I sometimes call myself the thank you minister, because I go around and I just thank young people. I thank them for all the good that they do in the community. Because part of what happens is you often are just unsung. You beaver away doing great things and nobody says thank you. Well, as the minister and as the first minister for Young Citizens and Youth Engagement, I want to stand here today and I want to say a very, very big thank you to you all. We worry about the social and political engagement of young people. In this country, since 1997, the number of young people who have voted has halved, and that worries me deeply and greatly. And so I think if the problem is disengagement, with young people, then the solution has to be re-engagement. We have to find a way to re-engage with young people in this country and elsewhere. And that's what my job is. In 2009, the Youth Citizenship Commission, which is an independent body, produced a report on what this country does for young people, talks about how we can engage young people more and what we need to do. As a result of that, last week on the 4th of February, I launched the Agenda for Young People, which talks about all of the initiatives that this government does for young people, but it also signposts young people on what to do and where to go. And I encourage you while you're here to encourage my hits, to not only tweet, but to also log on to DirectGov, join in, log on and see what we're doing for young people and what's on offer. And I'll give you a little bit of a taster, what's on offer. We have invested £220 million in youth opportunity funds and youth capital funds. Now, these funds are directly administered for young people to spend how they want. And they've done amazing things. They've been to theatres, they've had parties, they've done loads of things. But what it was about was engaging young people who often are not engaged, who don't talk to each other from different postcodes and etc. We've given that money to young people. We've also invested £700 million in creating places for young people to go. That's state-of-the-art youth centres for young people. But it's not just a youth centre. They are intrinsic in the design of those centres. And I think that is the key to the future. By 2018, what we have said is that every local authority in this country must spend 25% of its budget on services for young people. That means that young people will now have a voice in this country and in their local authority. So I know I haven't got long to talk to you, and I have to rush back to Prime Minister's questions, which isn't quite an example of good politics. It's very theatre, so it's not the way as we can normally conduct business, but it is quite a lot of fun. Has anybody watched PMQs on TV? Yeah? Yeah, we don't do that every day, but it is a little bit cathartic maybe on a Wednesday to get it all out of your system. So I've got to rush back to that. But I want to just leave you with a saying from Marianne Williamson. And she says that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And it is your brightness, not your darkness, that frightens them. And I want to say to all of you in this room that you are shining so brightly today, and I want to just thank you for all the work that you do, and I hope you have a really excellent next couple of days and the rest of your lives continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dawn, thank you very much indeed. As Dawn said, she has to rush back to PMQs. Just ask the Prime Minister a good question about One Young World for us.
Tell him how amazing you are today here.
Thank you.
Thank you.